Yes! I got it off. I got the whole thing off, bro. I'm so happy. You can just see how rusty the spark plug is. Leads me to believe it's at by salt or something. Today, we're gonna be getting this old 208cc power horse engine running. It has been sitting for over 15 years. This engine was close to being stuck. It was really hard to pull over very first time we pulled it over. And it actually came with a pump of some sorts on it. And so we gotta finish removing this plate and that thing on the crankshaft too. I don't know what kind of gas is in it. I don't know what the carburetor. Very first thing we're gonna be doing to it is giving it a bath. This engine is filthy from sitting all those years without being used or ran at all. So, got it washed off. It looks a lot better. You can tell it's not a new engine though. Now I'm gonna try and take this stuff on this side off because I won't be needing that no more. So on here, probably 3 months back when my brother tried to get this thing running, first thing he did too was try and take this pump off. And so he actually got 3 of the 4 out. This one was rounded out. He couldn't get it out. Too rusted in there. And yeah, this broke. It used to have more stuff on it and stuff, but yeah, hopefully I can get that off the crankshaft, and hopefully so my plan of action to get this bolt out of here, weld a nut to it, and hopefully break it free that way. I let penetrating oil sit in there and on the crankshaft and everything. Hopefully I can get the stuff off. Isaac, what are you doing here? Why are you just starting fires in our yard? Fine. With how corroded everything was, rusty and all that, I wasn't able to get a good weld on a nut that would stay on there. So I just turned the heat way up and the wire feed way down and just kept building up layer by layer onto there until it was high enough out of the aluminum that I could grab it with a vice grip and just break it loose. So that worked better than welding a nut onto there. Now hopefully the aluminum thing comes off and I don't have to take this off first, because I know that's gonna be hard to get off. Nope, this is loose, but it won't come off until I get that thing off the crankshaft, which I do not know how to do. Yes! I got it off. I got the whole thing off, bro. I'm so happy. It took a lot of welding and complicated stuff and hammers and pulley pullers, and it took a long time to get that off. I am really, really glad I got that off. Now we can move on to trying to get it to run. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit so it looks a little bit better, and we can maybe, if we want to slide a clutch onto it sometime. So now after I don't have to worry about getting all that stuff off back there, I'm happy now. Now I actually go and read this label, and right there, 2014. So this was not sitting for 15 years. It was made in 2014. So I would guess it still sat for probably 7 years. I'm guessing here, but it's actually pretty bad by the way it looks. Either that or it sat by salt. Pretty rusty. Last thing I'm gonna do for the night, I'm gonna pull the plug out and I'm gonna put either just penetrating oil in or regular oil just to try and, you know, lubricate it since it hasn't ran for so long. It does spin over and turn over and stuff, but just trying to help it not start up dry. You can just see how rusty the spark plug is. Leads me to believe it's at by salt or something. All right, throw some oil down there and put the spark plug back in and call it a night.
Good morning, YouTube, or I should say, good afternoon. It is the next day, and we got the whole thing off yesterday. That's good. Now it's time to actually get this thing running. First up, I'm just gonna check the oil, see what that looks like.
Oh, yep, there's oil. Plenty of oil. So we don't have to add any to that. All right, next up, check the fuel tank. Well, I don't think that's supposed to be like that. That chain must be rusted off. That is really rusty in there. That's how much rust is just in the filter. You can see the rust in there, rust chunks and stuff. Oh, there's a really bad spot. And that gas, I can tell you, does not smell good. I think we're going to be draining the gas on there. Yeah, I don't want to run that gas into the carburetor. It looks like it was sitting with the fuel off, is what it looks like. So that's probably good. Not get all that stuff in the carburetor. Well, we're going to find out though when we tear the carburetor apart. Now I'm going to drain the fuel tank. So I was just trying to take the air filter box off so I could get to the gas line easier, take that off to drain the tank. But I couldn't get this off. There used to be a plastic knob on the head of this bolt. You could just spin it loose, easy. Well, no, the nut inside rusted solid to the bolt, and that was supposed to be solid, not moving in there. So you don't have to put a wrench on it. You just twist one side off and that stays there. But no, that was so rusted to that. And that was the air box too. That really should not be like that. Here's the extremely dirty air filter, air filter. Just look how corroded everything is. Look at the throttle. It's hard to show it to you. Camera tries to focus on other things. But it's really rusty. This whole thing is really, really corroded. Ooh, yeah. Whole bunch of gunk inside there. So I'm gonna take that fuel line off and drain the tank, and then we're gonna look inside the carburetor. I literally just broke the handle off of the fuel valve because it's so corroded, trying to get that thing to turn. This thing, you can tell it was a water pump. It is bad. So now there's no gas coming out of it. It's that clogged with rust and other gelled up gas and stuff. There's plenty of gas in there, but there's just nothing coming out. And I'm pretty sure that valve is on. It's bad. I can't wait to see what the carburetor looks like. Well, I took the fuel petcock off the gas tank, and this thing was so plugged, it was like a toddler with a sugar high trying to sit still. It just won't move and causes a lot of problems. But anyway, I used the air compressor and some carb clean, got it free. There's no more filter on here anymore. I'm just gonna put an inline filter. Yeah, there's no way of saving that by blowing an air compressor through here and the junk coming out into the filter. That just wouldn't work. So I deleted that, and it should be good to go back on the tank. Probably try and clean it out a little bit before I put it back together. And then I'm going to be throwing new fuel line on it too, because some of that fuel line was really, really bad. Fuel tank is all cleaned up. I'm happy with it. I'm going to be throwing that back on, and it's going to be getting new fuel line and an inline fuel filter. Okay, the throttle is free now, but it was seized wide open, and the whole thing was just stuck on there, been on there for so many years, and then all the corrosion and everything. it was stuck. I struggled to pull that carburetor off when it should really just slide right off easy peasy. But I think it's gonna work. We're gonna we're gonna take the bowl off and look inside there, and I'm assuming it's gonna be really disgusting. So I have some carb clean that up. Here we have the carburetor off the engine, and in the shop, we're getting ready to clean it. All right, let's take this bowl off and see what's inside. Oh, not too bad. Not as bad as I thought it would be. There's a little bit of white junk in there, but not as bad as I thought it would be. No, it's pretty clean in there. Must have been because that fuel valve was off. That's good. That's a good sign. I wonder, this one doesn't look like it has a idle jet. That's a little bit interesting. It's the same style as like a Predator 212. It just doesn't have the fuel valve on the carburetor. But I guess there's more different than that. There's no pilot jet. The seal, the bowl, gasket seems good, so I'm going to throw that back together. This carburetor did not need much cleaning. It was pretty clean. I think it's going to run nice. Other than it's a little bit weird that it's before they started putting the pilot jets in them. It's a little bit weird. Anyway, I'm going to throw this back on the engine. Thrown back together. Loosen the bolt for this throttle so it moves nice and easy now. Had to put a different fuel filter on because that bigger one I had wouldn't fit against the side of the flywheel cover or whatever and this plastic thing. So got that all worked out. Now we're ready to start it up. Of course, it does help to have gas in the tank. So I'll do that quick. All right, how many pulls is it gonna take? I'll try it with the choke off first. Kill switch on. And I like how nice it idles even without that pilot jet in the carburetor. This is going to be a good engine for a go-kart someday. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.